Hey guys, in this video we're going to talk about why you have a flip, what is a flip, what does it cause, and how do you fix that flip. Hey guys, let's talk about the flip. So first let's define what a flip is. Let's go over what it would create, why do you get the flip, and then finally how can we fix it. So what a flip is, or at least what we commonly would refer to that in golf instruction, would be when the club head gets past your hands or handle location relatively quickly. Now depending upon who you talk to, that might mean the club head gets ahead of your hands before impact. That might mean the club head gets ahead of your hands just past impact. Certainly I think if the club head passes your hands at a couple feet past impact, I don't define that as a flip. Not everyone, okay, has a grip, rotation, so on and so forth, that's gonna have a look where the club head never passes their hands. So for me, flip means club head's passing your hands, shaft leaning backwards at or like immediately past impact. Now, what a flip does, or what the issue is typically, is difficulty with contact. So contact gets inconsistent as the club head's passing your hands. Hitting the ball in the middle of the face gets inconsistent. Very difficult to compress the ball in that sort of position, and then also club face management. So basically everything. If you have a flip that's early, it's difficult to hit the ball solid, hit the ball far, and control the direction. So that's what I consider a flip. That's what I think a flip does. Let's talk about why you get the flip. So I see a lot of people with a lot of different drills. We're going to talk about some of them spending a lot of time trying to get a look of the handle being ahead of the hands, trying to get a look of keeping that ahead of the hands forever. And you have some root cause issues that are never going to allow that to happen. There's two things that pop up that cause a flip. Number one, and absolutely number one, is a club face that's too open. That to me is a factual thing, not even really debatable. Okay, every golf swing that I see, or at least the greater majority, where that club head's getting ahead of the hands, you guys are flipping the club or having the club head move in this direction to square a club face. If I took my club and just set it here normally, okay, my loft of the club's pointed basically at the target. If I do nothing else but flip the club head past my hands, the loft of my club head's now pointing dramatically farther left. What does that mean? That means this flipping, this club in this plane of motion closes the club face. Okay, that's what it serves as a function. So when you, if you video your swing or you see a swing where that gets way ahead of it, 80+%, okay, is because the club face is too open. What does that mean? That means you could do a million drills for freaking a million years trying to get this handle open, and your brain's never gonna do it when you take that out because your club face is too open. And if you don't have the flip, face is going to be open, you're going to hit the ball way to the right. So you're wasting time trying to have some kind of drill to get your hands ahead if your club face is open. You need to fix that first. The point of this video is not to go through how to fix all that. That's a separate freaking video. Okay, there's a lot of videos we've done on that. That's not here now. You need to understand your club face is too open, you're going to flip. Those drills are not going to fix it. That's point one. The second thing is swing direction. Okay, so the second piece I have, I'm just going to shift here a little bit. The second piece that causes the flip would be a swing direction angle of attack issue. Most of that comes from during the downswing if someone gets too far outside over the top and too steep. If I'm too steep and my club head is going to go really hard into the turf, those people typically will kind of stand up and out and they'll flip to help shallow out the angle of attack so they don't take a freaking foot deep divot, okay? So it's a function of shallowing the angle of attack if you're too steep. If your club head is coming into the golf ball way too vertical, you're gonna flip at the bottom to help shallow the club out. The handle's gonna raise, the club's gonna flip. That's the function of that, okay? So if you are someone who comes way over the top like this and you flip at the bottom, you ain't gonna fix the flip if you're still over the top. You have to fix the over the top. Again, not in this video, we have other videos on that. How to hit a draw talks about that practice station. The other thing that also happens is too far inside out. So same thing, swing direction issue. I see a lot of good players, they get the club way too far inside and then they have to flip to try and, because their club's too far behind them, they flip to try and square the face up, right? You can get the club way behind you and rotate and do it, but that's not everyone can do that. They'll get the club too far inside and flip, okay? So the short version is this. If you have a flip, I would bet most of the money that I have, which is not a lot, but it's some, that you have a club face issue or you have a swing direction issue. And if you do not fix those two things first, these drills I'm gonna show you or any other drills you look at probably are not gonna work. That's probably why you're watching this video and you still have a flip after a period of time. You have to fix your club face first. You have to fix your swing direction. That to me is non-negotiable. Now, for those of you that are past that point, which most of you aren't, but if you are past that point or when you get to that point, then what can you do? Okay, how do we fix a flip? Well, if I don't want to have the club head passing my hands, there's two main things that need to happen. One, my handle location needs to remain more forward, okay, than where my club head is at. And part of that has a lot to do with body rotation, right? So if I want to start fixing those things, I can basically take two courses of action. Number one is I can get rid of the flip through rotation and handle location. That's option one. If you're someone who can't rotate a ton, okay, physically or whatever, then I need to do it with my arms and hands more. I can do it with my body and hands, or I can do it with just arms and hands. Those are my options. Let's talk body first. So if I was gonna fix a flip with my body, there's two common drills I see all the time because they work well for people who don't have club face and swing direction issues. So if you're over the top, don't do this. Turn this off, fix that, and then come back after that, and then start doing this. What is this? Alignment rod. I have tape on here because I get splinters from it because it's fiberglass. So, but this is an orange alignment rod, driveway marker. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it on the side of the shaft. Feels kind of goofy when you first do it in the beginning to grip it. You might have to feel like your handle's more forward at address than normal. It's just any kind of extension of the club. A lot of you have seen this before. This is not me that have made this up. It's just something I've seen and I use. The goal would be if I want to not flip, right, if I had this stick on here, obviously if I had my club head passing my hands early, this thing starts to hit my body before I even get to impact. That's with no body rotation. If I turn a little, it's still going to hit me certainly before I would get past impact. What's the goal here? The goal here would be to hit shots, not have this stick run into my body. How do I do that? Two things. One, my handle needs to be forward, roughly over my left leg, and my body needs to be open. The only way for me to get decent, semi-decent at doing these is for me to rotate enough here, and that hits me on the way through, which for me is okay. But for me to be open enough and have my handle forward enough to do that, right? So I'm gonna do that again. This is gonna hit me on the side because I don't have my handle super forward, but I wanna get this feel, right? I wanna get here. This is a little bit exaggerated. I don't mind if it hits me kind of on the way through, right, like so. You can kind of hear that whipping me on the way through, which is okay. This will be part number one. For me, compared to normal, I definitely have to get more open. I feel my belly, my belt buckle, my chest is more open to the target than normal, and I have to exaggerate a little of the handle more forward. That would be sort of route one. If you want to go the rotation route, I tell some people all the time, you can use your arms and hands more, you don't have to turn, but some people just want to do the rotation thing. They think that's right, that's fine. You have to go this route with it, right? So stick on the side, learn how to hit. Never full swings with this. This is just like short, slow, little half swings. The second thing we'll do is we have this little Callaway chip sticks deal that gets put on the end of the club. This is a little bit more forgiving than that, what I just whipped myself with there. And again, I'm not looking for you to never touch your body with it. I don't want you to do this and have to exaggerate the handle so far forward. That's not the point. It's that if you hit yourself, it happens out here, not before impact. So the chipsticks goes on the end of the club. It's a little bit softer, doesn't hurt as much as the other stick, but still the same things would provide me with the same feels. So I'm trying to get my body more open, have my handle more forward, and just hit little half ones. This would be how I would start this process. So same thing, just little kind of half chip shots out there. That would be the rotation route. Okay, now I said before, if you don't want to go the rotation route, then you need to go arms and hands route. That means you need to throw every idea you have in your mind about this, not supposed to use my hands, don't want to get handsy idea, right in the garbage, and you need to do some of that. How would I do that? Well, and again, this is after fixing the club face and the path. I can't stress that enough. This is after that. If I have my club face managed, if my path is somewhat neutral and I have a flip look to it, there could certainly be other issues, posture stuff, you're really extending, whatever, okay? There's a lot of variables, but if I don't go the body rotation route, I need to go arms and hands. How could I use my arms and hands to get rid of a flip? I would add two things. Number one, I would add more lead wrist flexion or bow, more trail wrist extension or bent back this way. I would exaggerate the heck out of that, and I'd hit short little shots trying to maintain that forever. You see that right there? So my right wrist, if I do a little chip shot one, my right wrist never gets thrown. My trail wrist never loses that little bow there. I'll do the same thing. I'm gonna add part number 2 to it. So same pieces into here, gonna exaggerate. Okay. Now for a lot of you, just that's not gonna do it. You need to add the second part, which is supination or forearm rotation. So yes, I wanna have my wrist conditions this way. I wanna have this into my follow through, but I also need to have some of this going on. And we have other videos on how to compress your irons that go through that. I wanna have my palm more up towards the sky, my right palm more down towards the ground, back of the left hand more towards the sky. I show people all the time that come in looking like this, and I get them to keep their wrist flexed and rotate them a ton, and then they look like this. To keep the arm straight, to keep the wrist conditions, to get rid of the flip, we're gonna wanna add some forearm rotation. So here's the second part. Yes, I feel this, but I'm combining this with rotation, with forearm rotation. Then it doesn't look as exaggerated. This is how I would practice this, same thing. So I'm wrist flex, adding back of the left hand towards the ground, back of the left hand or left palm up towards the sky, and that's how I get rid of my flip. That's how I prefer to do it. I don't mind having a lot of hand action in my swing. And if you can't rotate a lot, then you have to have hand action. The point is, you're not trying to hold a flying wedge forever. You have to rotate it. What's the worst that happens? So you got a flip going anyway. That's a better version of using your arms and hands too much. So who cares about that? So flip, club face is too open, or you have a path, angle of attack issue. Most everyone that has a flip has that. Fix that first, none of the rest of this matters. Once you get past that, you have to choose, do I want to try and get my handle forward and do it through pivot, body rotation? Cool, that might be a project for some of you, right? If you can't do that, you got to go arms and hands. How do you do that? One, reference our other videos in more detail, then that was just a quick explanation. But two, wrists remain in flexion, my lead wrist, and you have to add some forearm rotation. Pick which one you want, understand why you get the flip, fix root causes. Hope that all makes sense. If you guys have a question, leave us a comment down below.